Bible, Discourse 30. To build the house of life upon the rock of wisdom. The Sermon on the Mount, Part 5, conclusion, with references from the Sermon on the Plain. Judge not, that A not be judged. For with what judgment A judge, A shall be judged, and with what measure A mete, it shall be measured to you again. Why beholdest thou the mote that is thy brother's eye, but consider not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye? And behold, a beam is in thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thine brother's eye. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they tramp them under their feet, and turn again and rend you. Ask, and it shall be given. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For every one that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there for you, whom if his son ask bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children. Once again, if ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? Therefore, all things whatever ye would that men should do it to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and prophets. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to the destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Beware of false prophets which came to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns, or figs of thistles? Even so, good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth forth not good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them. Not every one that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will profess unto them, I never knew you, depart from me, ye that work in iniquity. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will like him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and bet upon that house. It fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And every one that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. And it came to pass, when Jesus had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine. For he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes. When he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. Matthew 7 1 to 8 1. Judge not that ye not be judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is thy brother's eye, but considered not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thine brother's eye. Matthew 7 1 5. Parallel reference. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, and shaken together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that ye mete withal, it should be measured to you again. Ye mete, with all it shall be measured to you again. Luke 6 37 to 38, Sermon on the Plain. If you point out one finger at the other, three fingers point out at you. The divine law judge the censorer if you judge others. Motivation and action itself, both are part and parcel of cause and effect theory. God does not judge anyone's action. Man is the architect of his own nature. Uddharet atmanatmanam atmana mavasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhu atmaiva ripuratmana. Gita 6 Adhyaya 5th sloka. You are your own friend, your own enemy. You should uplift yourself. You should not let down yourself. A person is attracted to bad karma or bad karmic actions because of his bad karma. He should try to overcome it. Man must have a determination to say within himself, come what may, I will not be tempted to do bad karma again. Hurt never, help ever must be the cardinal principle. You must not judge and punish cruelly others. He must extend mercy and all forgiving help to the needy. This makes him free of many of his own direful karma. One should not make cruel speech and cruel behavior. This comes from cruel thoughts. The more one is addicted to mean-minded thoughts, the more he becomes mean-spirited, exciting and anger he becomes. Try to combat evil thoughts with the supply of good thoughts. Be always in the company of good people. Try to attend spiritual discourses as much as possible. Do not judge in gossiping and petty tattling. Don't do yourself and don't allow others to do mischief in friend's room or house. Don't cut jokes that hurts others. This is not only spoils friendship but culminates in animosity. In fact, because of hurting others, only one will be cutting jokes of dislike. Judge not that ye not be judged. This does not mean that you should try to conceal the faults of others. If you are a good friend or if you really desire his wellness, you must point out his faults explicitly. Condemn not, and ye shall be condemned. You must have a sympathy to your fellows. Then others and God will show sympathy towards you. But remember, if you support sin, then you are also a sinner. If John tries to help Judas extricate himself from past evil actions, then he will be helped by others to get succor and guidance to the path of righteousness in accordance with the law of karma. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. The judgment may be good or bad, kind or cruel, wise or ill advised. One should not publicize his faults, as everybody may not be helpful attitude to correct his fault. The psychological advice for corrective measures is better to be taken from a spiritual guru. Even the justifiable punishment must be accorded to the wrongdoer quietly in order to reform him. Every sinner is having a future and every saint had a past. One should not get disheartened remembering and recollecting this. Hate the sin but not the sinner. Give love to all. Give love to all. Love only is substitute for God. It is the only panacea that redeems this world. One who forgives others who have wronged him will attract forgiveness unto him. With the same measures that A met A, it shall be measured to you again. Your noble actions may not yield results in this incarnation. God will definitely recognize us that at appropriate time. In accordance with karmic law, good actions are bound to give fruitful results. The physically compelling sex forces is the result not only of metaphysical inheritance from fallen Adam and Eve, but also of prenatal past life habits. Prenatal past life habits. This tends to heredity in forming the postnatal habits. That is why children sometimes helplessly born with overstimulated appetites. Some with robust health may not have little or no sex desires, but they may be wicked in other respects. Some may have to struggle against avoiding sex due to past bad karma. Such persons should do Kriya Yoga, Pranayama to control life force. Once Einstein was asked by his junior assistant while walking down Oxford University corridor outside a classroom where Einstein used to teach, "Sir, it seems you gave same question paper to this year postgraduate students as you did to last year students." Einstein replied, "Your well, answers keep changing every year." Science, that is modern, is nothing but perception, Plato. Science, modern, is organized knowledge. Wisdom is organized life. Immanuel Kant. The saddest aspect of life in the modern age is that it gathers knowledge faster than society gathers wisdom. Isaac Asimov. The question to ask is, how come ancient Rishis and Drashtas thousands of years ago developed astronomical systems calculated precisely events and timings of the lunar and solar eclipses, which is still valid and used today? Ancient Rishis made a clear distinction between science and wisdom. We live in the age of information, which enables us with false and superficial empowerment. Sanatan Dharma is full of timeless wisdom. Sanskrit unlocks this treasure. We need to seek and acquire wisdom, which is the only way to live a good life, if we wish and choose to do so. Yadha chittam tadha vacho, yadha vachas tadha kriya, chitte vachi kriyayam च साधूनाम एक रूपता साधूनाम एक रूपता सुभाषिता. Meaning, as is the mind, so is the speech. As is the speech, so is the action. For a good life and living, there must be uniformity in mind, speech and action. Sooner we get beyond the illusion that information is not wisdom and realize that wisdom is the DNA of human life, the better it would be. The better it would be. Wisdom has two aspects, dharma and satya. One who can use his willpower against sex compulsion is a hero. Jesus helped many persons who wanted to come out of carnal desires by wisdom and love. People should be taught from childhood moral remedies of self-control, right living and proper hygiene so that they will not fall prey to bad company and worldly influence. Jesus said, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone." John 8:7. See Discourse 35. One who is morally weak only will talk ill of others. To be immoral is a sin, but to gossip about those people equally more shameful. You must make it your endeavor to correct such people so that you are not only helping such weaklings but also helping the society as a whole. Gossiping is dangerous spiritually and psychologically. Never be drawn into psychological muddles. Swami Sri Yukteswar used to say regarding some supposedly scandalous disclosure, if it is not something I can repeat to everyone, I don't wish to hear it. A spiritual crime is committed by journalists and publications that love to pickle gossip to sell more papers without caring for the consequences. Be not inwardly critical of others. Practice healthy self-criticism. In the light of my wisdom, I find no mortal perfect. I find no mortal perfect. And if I were to judge according to human standards of criticism, everyone who breathes my air of Maya would be found wanting. Jesus said, "Why beholdest thou the more that is in thy brother's eye, but consider not the beam that is in thine own eye?" Man should erase the original temptation inherited from Adam and Eve from his consciousness. One renounces the moral right to chastise others about the self-same faults that haunt oneself. Self-same faults that haunt oneself. A liar cannot admonish a liar, or a immoralist cannot pass judgment on an immoral person. One who presumes to correct ignorance in others should remove ignorance from within himself. Once one lady approached Mahatma Gandhi to remove the bad habit of eating jaggery. Gandhi told her to come after 15 days. After 15 days, Gandhi told that boy not to eat jaggery as it is not good habit. The lady inquired Mahatma Gandhi as to why did not he tell this one to that boy earlier. Then Mahatma Gandhi said that he was also eating jaggery earlier. One should purify oneself before counseling others. First cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. One Indian saint said, wanted reforms, not others. Reforms. One Indian saint said, wanted reformers not of others but of themselves. It is not advisable to analyze people spiritually. Jesus taught to become like little children, guileless, calm, humbly sincere. Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and becomes as little children, ye shall not enter into kingdom of heaven. Matthew 18:3. One cannot enjoy a flower if he analyzes it botanically. He should focus on its beauty and fragrance intuitively. One should introspect oneself before judging. The Sadgurus or masters of Bharat will take the responsibility to give spiritual guidance to a disciple, provided the disciple is ready to undergo spiritual transformation. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they tramp them under their feet and turn again and rend you. Matthew 7:6. Spiritual advice to unresponsive people is of no use. A swine cannot appreciate the beauty of pearls. Likewise, the evil minded people will not appreciate the spiritual pearls. Idante na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana nacha susrushave vachyam nachamam yobhya suyati. Gita 1867. The one who do not practice penance, a person without devotion, the one who do not want to listen to this Gita, the one who is having fault look of understanding, he is not to be taught this Gita Shastra preached to you by me, O Arjuna. Ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and ye shall find. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For every one that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there for you, whom if his son asks bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he asks a fish, will he give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? Matthew 7:7-11, parallel reference. And he said unto them, which of you shall have a friend, and shall go unto him at midnight, and say unto him, Friend, lend me 3 loaves, for a friend of mine in his journey is is come to me, and I have nothing to set before him. And he from within shall answer and say, Trouble me not, the door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give thee. I say unto you, though he will not rise and give him, because he is his friend, and because of his importunity, he will rise and give him as many as he needeth. And I say unto you, ask, it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For every one that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth. Unto him that knocketh it shall be opened. If a son shall ask bread of any of you that is a father, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he for a fish give him a serpent? Or if he shall ask you an egg, will he offer him a scorpion? If ye then, being evil, know to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your heavenly Father give the Holy Spirit to them that ask him? Luke 11:5-13. 11:5-13. The devotee who persistently pursues the truth shall get ease from God the Father. The devotee persistently seeks him in meditation, he will definitely get him. If the devotee knocks his door, it will be definitely opened. The devotee is sure to get the response of God, if he is sincere and persevering. If the devotee asks the God for the bread of eternal life, God the Father shall not give him a stone of material ignorance. If the devotee asks the God for fish of wisdom, food, God shall not give him the serpent of delusion. Even the ignorant human beings who are encompassed by Maya shall give good gifts to their children. Then God the Father, the giver of all, shall give his children the supreme gift of knowledge of communion with his creative cosmic vibration, the Holy Spirit. You demand the highest wisdom and vibratory power. God the Father shall bestow you. Not only that God surrenders himself to the sincere devotee who asks God and only God and nothing short of him. You first contact God with the continuous practice of scientific meditation and then ask for legitimate material or spiritual needs. They shall be given to you. Jesus said, No true heart will be denied that asketh of him, that seeketh him, and his wisdom true, or that knocketh at the door to his presence through meditation. Therefore, all things whatever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and prophets. Matthew 7:12. Parallel reference. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. Luke 6:31. Sermon on the Plain. You will get in return what you give to others. Your behavior should not insinuate others because you yourself do not like that if somebody insinuates you. If somebody insinuates you, one should not behave toward others in a way which is disagreeable to oneself. This is the essence of morality. All other activities are due to selfish desire. Mahabharata Anusara Parva 113.8. Hurt not others in ways that you would find hurtful. Buddhist Tripitika Udana Varga 518. Buddhist Tripitika Udana Varga 518. The divine law and the prophets deal with the people in noblest way. The people in turn will learn to act always nobly. God silently whispers, "Child, forsake the evil way." In fact, the human mind works on a simple fundamental principle: input and output. Input and out. We just have to be conscious and aware as to we think and choose wisely. It takes a bit of practice. What we see, what we read, and what we talk and ultimately do becomes and manifests as what we call life. The good thing is we are in charge of our own mind. If we chose to, sattva suddhi saumanasya ekagre indriya jaya atma darshana yogatvani cha. Patanjali Yoga Sutras 241, meaning the capacity for clarity, cleanliness, cheerfulness, and intentness, as well as mastery over the senses, ultimately give rise to Ananda. यतो हस्त ततो दृष्टि, यतो दृष्टि ततो मनः, यतो मनः ततो भाव, यतो भाव ततो रसा. Bharat Muni Natya Shastra, meaning where the mind goes, there is an expression of inner feeling, bhava. And where there is a bhava, the emotional and aesthetic impression, rasa, is evoked. We cannot replay past experiences. We cannot replay past experiences in our mind and call it a new day. And life without consciousness is not worth living. A man without consciousness is not human at all. Janmana jayate sudraha, samskarat dviji uchyate, samskarat dvija uchyate, veda patnat, veda patnat, veda patnat bhave vipraha, brahma janati iti brahmanaha. Atreya Smriti Rigveda, meaning we are all ignorance at the time of birth. By the way of wisdom, we rise to our true full potential, attain spiritual consciousness, that is Ananda, the eternal bliss and joy. Human mind is the greatest thing we have in the entire manifested universe. How much we know about our own mind? This is the question. Answer is much less. Then how to enrich and operate our own mind? Wisdom is the sole food for the development of the mind. Wisdom is the sole food for the development of mind. Sanatana Dharma has the wisdom in abundance. Sanatana Dharma is not a religion as such. It is a way of life. It is not a packaged religion. It is not a packaged religion based on a single book of do's and don'ts like most fanatic religions. Sanatana Dharma is ageless. Sanatana Dharma is ageless, timeless, and eternal, which embodied art and science and theory and practice, all we need to enrich our mind and live life our fullest potential as it appears The modern educated mind has a toolbox containing mainly of two tools, logic, screwdriver, and reason, cutting plier. It is a futile exercise to think that we can build and maintain a sophisticated sports car with a screwdriver logic and cutting plier reason alone. Needless to say, we need a whole lot more to do so. Sanatana Dharma contains easiest to the most advanced methods and systems of wisdom, such as Ramayana, Bhagavata, Puranas, Shastra, and Vedas. There are darshanas as life operating systems to choose from. For all practical purposes, Ramayana, Bhagavata, Upanishads, and Yoga Darshana will suffice. The epic Ramayana by Maharshi Valmiki also embodies all one needs to rise up to our fullest potential, which is suitable for scholars and commentators and commoners alike, which is suitable for scholars and commoners alike. Maricha praises Sri Rama as a piece of advice to Ravana Rakshasa who had sought Maricha's help in the heinous act of abducting Sita. Maricha had great admiration for the righteousness of Sri Rama and considered him as a personification of Dharma. Maricha praises Sri Rama as Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma Sadhu Sattva Parakrama Raja Sarvasya Lokasya Devanam Maghavaniva. Meaning, Rama is a personification of Dharma. He is pious, strives for fruits, strives, strives for truths, and he the God for devatas and king for all world. Sri Rama, Rama, Rameti, Rame, Rame, Mano Rame, Sahasranama Tatulyam, Rama Nama Varaname, Padma Purana and Bhishma Gita. Meaning, by meditating on Rama, the name of Rama, my mind gets absorbed in the supreme consciousness of bliss and joy. Rama is also a Maha Mantra, sum total of all mantras. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. C.G. Junker. Enter in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Matthew 7:13 to 14. Parallel reference. Luke 13:24. Discourse 57. The gateway of delusion is wide and it opens into broad pathway of evil. Many ignorant people go through this gateway. It requires no effort to roll down a hill. The broadness of the evil path signifies the unlimited potentialities for committing evil deeds. The straight gate of it is restrictive. It is less easy to pass through. Its path is narrow and difficult. Jesus said, the straight gate and narrow way refer also to the gateway in the subtlest subtle center at the base of the spine. It opens into the astral spine's narrow, extremely fine pathway. Through this life and consciousness ascend to the higher cerebrospinal centers of spiritual perception, the sole path to realization of God and union with Him. Conversely, life force and consciousness flows down through lower chakras in spinal cord and out. Then it will open the delusion's wide gate of sensory perceptions into body consciousness. It leadeth to destruction, forgetfulness of man's inherent divine nature. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God, inner paradise of divine perception. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God, the pinnacle of transcendent consciousness, in the highest spiritual center in the brain. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. The spinal chakras are astral dynamos of life force. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found within thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise, the commerce of the senses with the material world. They have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee a profane out of the mountain of God, and will destroy thee from the midst of the stones of fire. Ezekiel 28:13 to 16. Beware of false prophet, which came to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth forth not good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 17:15-20. Jesus said, spiritual sycophants commit sin towards God. They are using it to gain money and popularity. They are ravening wolves of evil. They are dressed in sheep's clothing. They pretend humility and spirituality. People should follow true God ordained Guru. People should follow true God ordained Guru. A true Guru will not give misguidance to his followers. A true Guru is recognized by his humility, uprightfulness, and God attunement. His ability is fortified by his states of superconsciousness, Christ consciousness, and cosmic consciousness. Just as a sleep manifests certain physiological changes, so the elevated states make the muscles, eyes, heart, and breathe become still. So the elevated states make the muscles, eyes, heart, and breathe become still. During the non-trance nirvikalpa samadhi, total interiorization occurs. False prophets are bound to be identified today or tomorrow. Not everyone that says unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in the day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work in iniquity. Ye that work in iniquity. Matthew 7 1. 8 1. Addressing Jesus as Lord, Lord, every now and then in conversation and preaching will not of itself make you eligible to assure entry into kingdom of God. Real Christ followers do meditation. They get cosmic wisdom and the bliss of Jesus Christ. This is the meaning. He that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven, the religion of heavenly bliss. He who experiences oneness with God in the ecstasy of meditation retains the divine attunement. The true devotee does intense meditation. He overcomes delusive sense pleasures. He will retire into cosmic bliss in God. At death, one reviews one's life. If he is more virtuous, then he will make more effort for getting liberated and obtain for Christ consciousness. If his sins and mental desires prevail, he will be cast again onto the rotating wheel of earthly incarnations. Jesus cites as an example the reprehensible actions of the false prophets, people who amass wealth in the name of God or who perform spiritual gimmicks will not be recognized by the infinite Christ. Real Christians should not be just members of Christian churchianity. They must know and truly feel the presence of omnipresent Christ all the time. They must commune with Him in ecstasy. He must be guided by His infinite wisdom. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will make him unto a wise man, which built his house upon rock, and the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and bet upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And every one that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and bet upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. Matthew 24 to 27. Parallel reference. And why call ye me the Lord, and do not the things which I say? Whosoever cometh to me, and heareth my sayings, and doeth them, I will shew you to whom he is like. He is like a man which built an house, and digged deep, and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon that house, and could not shake it, for it was founded on a rock. But he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built an house upon the earth, against which the stream did beat vehemently, and it immediately fell, and the ruin of that house which was great. Luke 6 46 to 47, Sermon on the Plain. Jesus spoke, and why call me Lord without knowing my oneness with the Christ intelligence? And why call me Lord without knowing my oneness with the Christ intelligence? And how my omnipresent self manifests itself in creation and in your consciousness. You don't lead my life as I say unto you. You feel my Christ consciousness within you. You awaken your super consciousness within you. You follow the wisdom, righteousness within you, then call me your Lord. Till you heed the instigations of delusion, there is no of calling me your Lord. Yeme mata midam nityam anutishtanti manavaah श्रद्धावन्तः अनुसूयन्तो मुच्यन्तेऽपि कर्मभिः. Gita 30:31. Those who follow my teachings with dedication, without any hesitation, shall get rid of all sort of bondage. Blind man cannot show the path to a blind man. So get a Sadguru, noble and self-realized preceptor, and get liberated from all sorrows. ये त्वे तदभ्यसूयन्तो नानु तिष्ठन्ति मे मतम सर्वज्ञान विमूढ़ांस्तान् विद्धि नष्टान चेतसः. Gita 3:32. But those who do not follow my precepts and Nishkama Karma Yoga and hate these shall be known as gullible, brainless and doomed. To view this panorama of the world, practically experiencing them, analyzing and grasping the knowledge, this intellect came into existence just for recognition, knowledge of matter, or for self-satisfaction sake. This buddhi, or for self-satisfaction sake, this buddhi or intellect is not manifested. So no one should misuse it. Jesus said, whosoever builds a house upon treacherous sand, earthly happiness cannot withstand rains, floods, and wind of physical disease and mental troubles, the changes of fortune and ultimate storm of death. द्वौ भूत सर्गौ लोकेस्मिन् दैव असुरमेव च. दैवो विस्तरस्य प्रोक्तः असुरं पार्थ मे शृणु. Gita 16:6. O Arjun, in this world, two types of living beings exist, godly and demonic. I had expatiated about men of godly qualities. Now listen in detail about the men born with demonic attributes. Not even direct suffering cause ruin to the equanimity of wise men, having established his happiness not on the temporal pleasures of life, but in God as perceived in meditation. He stands unshaken amidst the crash of breaking worlds. His joy is both enduring and everlasting. And it came to pass, when Jesus had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one having authority and not as the scribes. When he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. Matthew 7:28, 8:1. इवैव तैर्जितः सर्गो येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषां हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थितः. 19th sloka Gita. The one whose mind is settled in all the living beings as equal, then they are the winners of this mundane circuit of birth and death. Brahman is blemishless, and hence such a people are considered to be dwelling in Parabrahman only. Man will see a cinema of 21,600 days and nights in a lifespan of 60 years. If he does not perceive it as the dream of Parabrahman, then he will fall into the trap of births and deaths. A Kriya Yoga perceive it as drama. Na prahirishyet priyam prapyano dvijet prapyacha priyam stitir buddhir rasam modho brahmavid brahmani stita. The man of wisdom who is steady-minded, dispassionate, anchored to Parabrahman only, will not get perturbed when encountered by misery or engulfed by happiness. बाह्यस्पर्शे स्वशक्तात्मा विंदत्यात्मनि यत् सुखम स ब्रह्मयोग युक्तात्मा सुखमक्षम स्नुते. The sadhak who is not a slave to the senses and sense objects is getting the wholesale happiness that exists in pure soul. He is getting incessant and unlimited happiness having been united with Parabrahman. Yontas sukhontara Rama statam tar jyotirevat yaha स योगी ब्रह्म निर्वाणम ब्रह्म भूतोदि गच्छति ब्रह्म भूतोदि गच्छति 24th sloka. The sadhak who remains contented, feeling happiness in his self, playing in self, and united with the self-effulgent soul, that yogi himself takes the form of Brahma and gets complete liberation. End of discourse.